Good morning. So I've had this pallet in the shop now for a little bit and finally decided we're going to make a little bit of a project with it. So first things first, we'll get that pallet broken down. Alright, we got the pallet all broken down here. So what we're going to do now is head over to the table saw. We're going to clean up both of these sides so we can get these glued up and turn these into panels. Okay, so we got that all cleaned up and we can't get these glued together right now, but this wood's a little bit too thick for the project. So what we're going to do is thin this out a little bit. So we're going to resaw that on the table saw. Okay, so those are all thinned out now. So now what we're going to do is get some clamps, we'll get some glue, and we'll join these together and make some panels. Okay, so we got that workpiece all glued up now, so we got a panel. So what we're going to do is split that in half for the bottom and top of the coffin. So let's do that on the table. Okay, so we have the top and bottom of the coffin cut out. If you can see on this one here, we got our lines drawn out on them from where we need to cut those out. So what we're going to do is use a bit of tape those together, and then cut them out so they're both the same size. So we didn't cut all the way to the line. The reason I did that is I want to take the sander so we can get a nice even line all the way down and it's smooth. Here we have the two, top and bottom. Now what we need to do is get the sides cut out and start assembling. Okay, so here are the pieces all cut out now. So what we need to do is kind of to figure out what angle we need to cut each of these at. What I think I'm going to do is kind of line it all up, make a mark, and then probably take it over to the miter saw and make the cut there. I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use the laser on the miter saw and see if I can line it up on that mark there. So looks like that laser line is right on where we need to make that angle cut. So we'll go ahead, cut that out from there, and make adjustments as needed. So that cut worked out not too bad. So what we'll do is make a mark on that side there and do the same thing. That piece fits on there fairly well. So what we're going to do now is we're going to glue that piece in. We got that glued up and clamped down. It's not clamped very tight. I'm more just using it to hold it steady. So the strategy I'm kind of using here is to kind of just clamp one piece at a time and then kind of go back and get each piece to fit. Okay, so we got it all glued up now. You got the clamps on, waiting for the glue to dry. So I think for today, this is a natural stopping point. We'll wait for that glue to dry. So we got all the clamps off and looks to be holding up pretty good. Feels pretty solid. So what I'm going to do is just lightly sand over some of these more prominent edges. Looks like a coffin. So now what we're going to do is get the hinges on there for the top. So they're going to attach here and here. Hinges are on. Open and closes okay. For this finish, what I'm going to use is Danish oil. Now, one problem I had with Danish oil before is when I put it on to, especially pine, it goes on really blotchy. Kind of have to use a conditioner or a clear Danish oil before you put on. This is black walnut, so it's a bit darker. So my thought with this is, because it goes on blotchy, is if I just put it straight on, it'll go on kind of blotchy, make the wood kind of look rustic, old, and a bit dirty. So we're going to give that a try and see what it looks like. We're actually looking pretty good. I think that's, finish-wise, has turned out pretty nice. Just waiting for that to dry and then we can get a second coat on, but here's the inside of said candy dish. Again, everything I know about putting stain on kind of went out the window because I wanted to get this on more blotchy instead of smooth. So, and then there we have the hinges and screws. That'll go on once everything's dry and ready to assemble. So we're just getting the last little bit of oil on here. And I gotta say, this is turning out pretty good actually. Okay, so that finish is all dry now. Let's just take a look. Kind of like the way this one turned out. Need to fill it up with some little candies or little mini candy bars, and we have a Halloween candy dish.